What if I told you that being anti-AI is not actually protecting you? On today's episode of the Painless Posting Podcast, I am going to share my unfiltered opinion about what I'm hearing about AI and how frustrating it is when I hear certain comments. On today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you how not being educated about AI is actually putting you and your family and your business at greater risk. Because here's the truth. You do not have to love artificial intelligence, and you do not have to trust it. You don't have to use every AI tool that comes along. However, if you choose not to learn about it at all, that's not caution. That is surrender. You are creating a situation for yourself that is putting you at risk. Now, history has shown us over and over again that refusing to understand major technology shifts never stops it from happening. It only guarantees you'll be unprepared when it does. So, this is going to be a very different episode from any other episode I have ever recorded. If you want to hear my unfiltered opinion about AI and how it is affecting our lives, stay tuned. It is showtime. Let's get started. Creating consistent, engaging social media content shouldn't feel like rocket science. I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs go from, I don't know what to post, to I've got this, using simple, easy to implement steps that make a big difference. I'm Maggie Carey, and welcome to the Painless Posting Podcast. The reason I'm recording this episode is because a few weeks ago, I had an argument with a friend that totally shifted my opinion about sharing how I truly feel about AI. Now, you know, if you've listened to any of my podcast episodes, that I'm very helpful. I give you tools, I give you tips, I teach you not only how to use social media, but how to use AI effectively so you can make your life easier. I have heard from many sources that there are people out there that are actually telling their children to avoid, now I'm talking about college-age children, to avoid using AI entirely. Don't use it. It's the devil. Come on, people. It isn't the devil. It is a new technology. Yes, it's a scary new technology, but is a technology that we need to not only learn how to use effectively, but at least educate yourself on what it can do so you can protect yourself against the atrocities that people are using AI for negatively. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is not a fad. AI is not going away. I was at Taco Bell the other night, and guess what? There was an AI taking my order at the drive-in. This is just going to start being more and more prevalent as the technology gets adopted and shifted and used in multiple places for multiple people. It's a fundamental shift in how information is created, distributed, and analyzed. So let's talk a little bit about the current state of AI. I'm recording this in the summer of 2026. And right now, AI is being used for multiple things. We're using it for business in our social media. We are using it to ideate. We're using it to create graphics. We're using it to create images. We're using it to plan and organize and do those repetitive tasks that AI is really good at doing. Those things that could take us hours to do now can be done in minutes. And I'm not exaggerating here. Businesses are using it, government, schools, healthcare systems, and criminals are using it. So your opinion about AI does not determine whether AI exists or not. It is here to stay, and we have to learn how to use it. Now, remember when the internet came out. Remember when smartphones came out. Did you like the internet? Did you hate smartphones? Refusing to learn how to use these technologies did not make them disappear. The people who did not adapt and learn how to use these technologies were behind everybody else. You cannot catch up fast enough. AI is moving so rapidly fast, incredibly fast, faster than any other technology. Look, when the internet came out, that was the fastest thing anybody saw grow, right? The more people added to it, the more it became used, and the more now we rely on it for research. Well, now people are using AI for research. Now, look, history has seen this movie before, okay? Human beings have resisted every single major technology shift, whether it was the printing press, whether it was electricity, the car, television, the internet, social media. Look, I am a theater person. I love live theater, but I also love going to the movies. When movies came out, live theater didn't die. It was still alive, and to this day, still alive and thriving because people want that human connection, okay? But movies, it's just a different thing. This is a different thing. We need to learn to use and adapt. Some major advancements created fear, okay? We talk about the automobile. People were using horses. They felt more comfortable. The automobile in the beginning wasn't that great, right? It had problems. There was a hard time getting gas. There were tons of problems with it. But look at where we are now with the automobile and how it has become such an integral part of so many lives. Now, take a look at AI. How is AI shifting what we do today? How we monitor news, how we look at things that we're trying to organize and shift. I know somebody who does their whole meal prep from the moment they want to shop. They take the latest circular, they throw it into their AI that is fed with the store, the aisles, the products that they like, the allergies their family has, the likes and dislikes their family has, who and when is going to be at dinner or not at dinner, if they're having a party, all of this stuff. They throw the circular into their AI that's programmed with all of their likes and dislikes, and it churns out not only a shopping list, but a shopping list organized by aisle in their favorite store, recipes that they are going to use to take advantage of the sales that are in the circular. It creates the timing. It's going to give you a time, when to cook, what time to start cooking, which recipe you're going to be using, what night. It's insane. Something that would have taken hours, or frankly, something we probably wouldn't have done to begin with, is now being done in minutes. This is how people are going to learn how to adapt once these tools and technologies are easier to use and safer. So look, history has shown us it does not reward the people who pretend that change isn't happening. It rewards the people who learn how to navigate it, who educate themselves. So not understanding AI makes you easier to manipulate. I don't know if you've heard of terms like deepfakes and voice cloning scams and AI-generated misinformation and fake images, fake news, phishing attacks, identity theft. All of these things are the negative side of AI. With any tool that there's out there, there is a good and there is a bad use of that tool. It depends on who is wielding that weapon. Take a knife, for example. I can use a knife to cut vegetables. I can use a knife to cut a piece of cake. I can use a knife to open a box. I could also, which I would never do, use a knife to hurt somebody. This is not something that is inherently evil, okay? What we need to understand is that AI is here to stay, and we need to learn how to use it, adapt to it. Now, if you don't learn how to use it and what it can do, you will not be able to defend yourself against these people who are negatively using AI, who are using AI criminally, who are making you a victim because you're an easy mark, because you don't know how to use it. So I don't want that for you. I want you to be protected. I want you to have a knowledge of what is real and what is fake when it comes to the content that you're consuming online. Now, there was a story that I heard about a grandmother who got a video message from her grandson. It looked just like her grandson. It sounded just like her grandson. And the grandson sent the video. The grandson sent the video saying, "Grandma, I am stuck in jail. I'm sending you this video from someone else's phone because they took my phone and they won't give it back to me. I need you to transfer money so that I can get out of jail. Please hurry. Don't tell mom or dad. I don't want them to be upset." Well, guess what happened, right? The grandmother sent the money. It was a scam. It wasn't her grandson. It was an AI clone that was designed to look like her grandson. This is what's out there, and this is what you have to protect yourself about. So when you get something, hopefully you never get anything like that, but when a person gets something like that, even if it's on a small scale, you're going to do follow-up. You're going to make sure that this is who they say they are. These are things that we need to look at when we are looking at AI. I know some people who are saying people are going to lose jobs because of AI. And the truth is, yes, they are. They're going to lose their existing jobs. But if history has taught us anything, new technologies actually create jobs that were never there before. Businesses that did not exist before are now going to be created. It's a different skill set, again, that we need to learn to use. So this dear friend that I had the argument with is a computer programmer, decades of computer technology. My point to her was, look, 40 years ago, were you a computer programmer? And she said, yes. And I said, 80 years ago, would you have been able to be a computer programmer? And she looked at me, she's like, well, no, because there wasn't computers 80 years ago. And that's my point, my friends. Right there in a nutshell, what job would she have done 80 years ago? Now, she's a woman, so you know what that means. But in reality, think of this. What would you have done if your job today is dependent on a technology? I don't care if it's a telephone. If you didn't have that device 80 years ago, what would you have done instead? Okay? Telephone is a perfect example. Okay? We used to have handsets and we used to call. I was telling somebody about sending them an email. I said, remember when we had to do faxing? Now it's instantaneous. I could just stand next to somebody. I can take pictures with my phone. I couldn't do that before. We all couldn't do that before. Refusing AI, refusing to learn how to use AI, will not protect your career or your business. AI is changing workflows. No matter whether we like it or not, it's happening. Clients are using AI. Our competitors are using AI. Our employees are using AI. And students are using AI. And I got to tell you, hopefully, students are using AI in a positive way. They need somebody to teach them how to use it, or they're not going to be viable candidates for the next generation of our workforce. That is a fact. That same friend that I was talking about was looking for a job, and one of the questions they asked her was, what is your opinion of AI? Not do you use it? That was the next question. Do you use it? Have you used it, and how? But the first question is, what is your opinion about AI? Depends on the company. But some companies are looking for people who know how to use AI because they don't. They need somebody who understands it. So, the greatest risk out there in the workforce isn't AI replacing you. The greatest risk is someone who understands AI replacing someone who refuses to learn to use it. Okay? And look, I'm so passionate about this because I want you to understand that if you know somebody who is anti-AI, say you're listening to this episode and you're like, Maggie, I am so pro-AI. I am with you. Everything you're saying, I agree with. Thank you. I appreciate that. But don't stay silent. You need to be a force for good and tell people the pros and cons about AI, what they need to do to protect themselves, what they need to do to protect their family, what they need to future-proof their family. I was talking to a woman at a restaurant, and the woman said, I've told my college kids that they're not allowed to use AI. She was very proud of this fact. And I told them they're not to use it. They're to use their own brain, and they are supposed to creating their own things. One of these children is a graphic designer. Let me tell you, my friend, if that child does not learn how to use AI to do graphic design, she is going to be unmarketable. No one will hire her. And that's a fact. That is not my opinion. If you go out there and you start looking at job postings, see how many people are asking for people who have experience, knowledge, education about AI, and then come back and tell me I'm wrong. The question isn't whether AI will change your industry. The question is whether you'll understand the changes well enough to adapt and whether your competitor is changing faster than you are. Because this is what's happening. My business has evolved greatly in the last 7 years. Okay? 4 years ago, we took Painless Posting and we added AI. Now we've got a whole new way to use our system where you give it the detailed marketing brief about your business and it creates content for you using our built-in AI system, and you can go and edit it and change it and modify it because, look, AI is not perfect and you need to brand it. And we all have our preferences of what we like and we don't like. But what used to take hours, countless hours, and highly skilled graphic designers is now taking less than an hour to create a month's worth of content. I kid you not, my friends. This is how my business has evolved in the last 7 years. I used to have a team of 8. I now have a team of 2. I have 1 full-time person and 2 part-time people and myself. And we are doing more, not just we are doing what we used to do before. We are doing more than what we used to. This is how you can leverage this. People are looking for this technology. They're looking for people who know how to use it, but they're looking for people who they trust. Remember, there will never be a time where the trust factor disappears. So I want to be clear. I'm not saying to blindly trust AI. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is be aware. Out there are AI hallucinations. AI can be biased. AI can be wrong. AI can be misinformed. AI raises ethical questions and concerns. AI should absolutely be questioned and not trusted, okay? Just because you can't trust it doesn't mean that you shouldn't use it, okay? So what you want to do is use the tool, but use your brain, okay? The pairing of AI with your intellect is what is going to make the content that you create, the tools that you create, better. It's going to make it faster. It's going to make it usable. It's going to make it accurate, right? The main point that I want to share with this topic about how AI can be misinformed, do your research. Don't just accept blindly what it says. Question it. Ask it to cite its source. You know, there was a story way in the beginning in early 2023 where there was a lawyer who actually got disbarred for quoting a non-existent case. He used ChatGPT to do research, and it came back with this case. Well, it wasn't a real case. The point is, do your research. Ask for citations. Remember, the internet is filled with truth, lies, and stories, okay? Maybe that case that this lawyer found was actually something that was cited in an episode of Law and Order. It's not a lie, it's just fiction that somebody had written and it was on the internet. This is how easily we can get misinformation. But when you marry your intellect with AI, and if you've watched any of my episodes about AI, what do I say? Always read what it creates. Do not take it at face value. You need to research this, you need to look at it, and you need to not trust AI blindly. That's why I spend so much time learning about AI. I listen to podcast episodes. I'm part of 2 different AI groups so that I can keep informed about what is going on in the industry. But I don't bury my head in the sand with this, and I strongly recommend you do not as well. Here is my main concern, and this is why I'm so passionate about this, and this is why I have to share this. Look, my friends, my theatrical background is all about connecting with human beings, but I also have 40 years experience in IT. I know technology. Look, when I was going to college, there were only 2 computer science degrees that were out there. 2! My son went to college 8 years ago, and he had a choice of 20 degrees. And there was just one college that had these 20 programs that were all based on technology. This is how things are evolving and changing. My concern, and the reason I'm sharing this episode and being so frank and going so off script, is because I'm afraid of what I'm seeing out there. I'm afraid of what I'm hearing. I'm scared for those people. Now, look, my business is about social media, is about AI. I have to dive deep in it. But I'm not saying you have to go crazy and spend hours learning about AI every single day. But what I'm saying is, learn about AI from a trusted resource. Learn. If you don't want to use it, fine. Okay? Hate to tell you, you're already using it without you even knowing you're using it. Case in point, my Taco Bell story, right? Where I went up to a drive-up and an AI was talking to me. You're using it whether you like it or not. So here's the thing. I'm not worried about people using AI. I'm worried about people refusing to understand it. I'm worried about people making decisions based on fear and a true fear instead of knowledge. And I'm worried about people being vulnerable because they choose not to pay attention to what is going on. I don't care whether you become an AI expert or not. I care that you understand enough to protect yourself, your business, your family, your career, your future, right? Here are some things I hear all the time that really bug me when I hear them. And I'm going to tell you why. One of the first things that I hear that people are afraid of when it comes to AI is that AI is taking jobs away. And yes, some jobs will change. Some will totally disappear. That has happened during every single major technology shift in history. But refusing to learn the technology doesn't save those jobs. It only reduces your ability to get a new job. The second thing that I hear so much in AI that absolutely bugs me is that AI is unethical. Okay, so yes, some uses of AI are absolutely unethical. That is precisely why more people need to understand it, discuss it, regulate it, and use it responsibly. You need to be educated about it so that you can fight the people who are doing things unethically, so that laws and rules and regulations can be put into place. The third thing that I hear that bugs me when people talk about AI is, I don't need AI in my business. Oh, baby, you will be closed in 5 years or less if you don't start using AI. You may not need to use AI every day, but you absolutely need to understand how your customers, competitors, employees, and industry are using it. I want you to keep an eye out for all of the things in your world that are starting to use AI. Whether you like it or not, it is there and it is not going away. The fourth thing that I hear about AI that bugs me is I'm afraid that AI will replace human creativity. My friends, remember, theater background, computer background, marketing background, graphic design background. You want to talk about human creativity? I use every day. My whole life is about human creativity. And it has survived photography, film, television, computers, and the internet. Tools change. Human imagination remains the differentiating factor. We need that control. We need to make AI a tool that we use to explore more of our creativity. Fifth thing that people say about AI that really bugs me is, I just don't trust AI. Good. I'm glad. Skepticism is healthy, but skepticism without understanding isn't wisdom, it is avoidance. Okay? So let's wrap this up in a tight little bow, my friends. Please, I beg you, go out, find a solid resource. I have plenty on my website at masteritmedia.com. I have a whole AI Success Squad section that will help you. If you need to learn about AI, go out there, find a trusted resource, somebody who can talk the way you feel you want to be talked to about AI, and learn it. Learn about it if you don't want to learn how to use it. You don't have to become an AI enthusiast. You can continue to hate AI all you want. There are a lot of things in the world that I don't appreciate, that I don't like, that I absolutely hate. But that's not going to make them go away. And by choosing to remain AI ignorant in today's society is becoming a luxury none of us can afford. So please, you don't have to love AI. You don't have to trust AI, but you do have to understand it, because history has never punished people for learning too much. It has punished people for refusing to learn at all. Well, until next time, my friends, keep your posting painless and your engagement powerful.